Hello and welcome to the third video of my Uzbekistan sketchbooks. So I think I mentioned in the first one that I went with Art Safari, great company based in Woodbridge in Suffolk. So these two just happen to be two of the Art Safari notebooks that I've got, sketchbook and a notebook. These are by C. White of Brighton. So this little one was the one that I used more as a kind of travel journal really, and to make notes in. I arrived on the 12th of April, which was my birthday. So very exciting way to spend my birthday, arriving in Tashkent in Uzbekistan and changing $200 and becoming a millionaire. I had 2.5 million soms, which is the Uzbekistan money. It was made me laugh anyway. So yeah, this is more really just little notes. I didn't, because I lost it, I lost this little book. I'd put a date at the top of each page, intending to write notes for that day, but I'd misplaced it, so I've got 4 days to kind of write up, which may or may not get done. But in this book, not quite sure how clearly this is going to come out. You can see it quite clearly. So I started on the 18th in Bukhara, and these were just notes that Jalal, our guide, was telling us about, and I was just drawing little bits and sketching. So this was a water storage building that we saw, and then I was making notes of what Marianne was saying as well about doing thumbnails and doing colour swatches and things like that. So this is really, you're not meant to be able to read all of this, but these are just notes to help me, little reminders. Like for lunch I had aubergine rolls. Oh, I had really sore throat on the 19th as well, and I swear by Tiger Balm. I take it everywhere with me when I travel. And then for dinner I had pumpkin and spinach pasta stuffed, and courgettes with spicy vegetable plough. So yeah, this was about the visit to the pottery. So yeah, just lovely little notes I was able to make along the way. Oh, that was me trying to draw one of the little vehicles, that like the little camper van things. But it was on the road, and like some of my notes, these were the things that Jalal was telling us about, and some of my notes are really jiggy-jaggy because we were on the bus and it was just such bouncy roads. So yeah, there's not much to see in this book really. It was just about like very important, on the last day, woke early again, packed case, couldn't find second spare battery, then found it in outside pocket. I knew I'd put it somewhere safe, but could I find it? No. So yeah, that's all I think in that little book. And then this one, a little bit more in this book. This was a pattern that we saw somewhere. I've already mentioned it in previous videos. I should have made better notes. So a memo to all of you: make good notes while you're sketching outside. These were two plate designs that we saw in Khiva. This was when we were in the harem part of one of the madrasas. I didn't feel like drawing buildings that day, so I really loved these plates, and it was before I bought my lovely blue fishbowl. So that's what those are. These are from the Friday Mosque. I did say in my last video I showed you some, I forget which book they were in now. Anyway, I showed you some close-ups of some of the columns. It was in that other book. This was my attempt to draw and paint the Friday Mosque in Khiva. And where I was looking that direction, it was very dark. Let's zoom in a bit for you. And in that direction, this was very light. So that was actually behind. Oh, was it? No, that was a bit behind that, I think. Anyway, I got lost in the ceiling bit because of the perspective and what have you. And I've made it too dark here, really, I think, in hindsight. But this is the painting that I bought. I showed you at the end of the last video, but you can see how this person has managed to get all the detail in of, like, the detail's in but not in, if you know what I mean. It's there but not. So that was that. I got frustrated with that painting, so I went on to do the TARDIS. Yeah, I know it's not really a TARDIS, but it just reminded me of a TARDIS when I'd finished drawing it. So this was actually a book stand, and because I was using this square paper, I think that put off all of my perspective, because it should have really been a bit longer, or it should have been a bit narrower. Anyway, I enjoyed drawing and painting that. So this is the Khiva skyline. Marianne challenged us to do a one-line blind contour of what we could see on the skyline, which is why it kind of goes up the page. And then to do like a colour thing of all the different colours that we saw. This was from the rooftop of a hotel called the Art Hotel, which was, the gentleman there was absolutely lovely. He brought us tea and some little biscuits. Yeah, it was just lovely. I also did a Zentangle tile that particular day, and I showed him it because the Zentangle tile looked like the crockery, which a lot of it in Uzbekistan has the very distinctive blue and white cotton flower pattern on it. And I'd kind of used similar patterns, and I'd done this Zentangle tile based on some tile patterns I'd seen. Anyway, I showed it to him, and he asked if he could have it, and I said, yes, of course you could. And then he asked me to sign the back of it. I hadn't actually finished it. I'd been doing it to show one of the other ladies on the trip what Zentangle was. Anyway, I think he's put it up in the hotel. My claim to fame. This is a very quick sketch of the unfinished minaret, which you can see I unfinished this picture and gave up very quickly. And then on the 17th of April, we stayed in the Asia Hotel in Khiva. This is more or less a one-line contour drawing of our luggage, and I used the blue line marker for this, Derwent line marker, and all the yellows are our yellow Art Safari labels on our luggage. So that was just quite a fun little thing to do. Oh, there's my other picture. I knew I did another one of, so this again is the Friday Mosque, and I think I did this one based on using this as inspiration, because I couldn't break down in my head how to get the perspective right and things, and how not to make it too dark. So I tried again. You can probably see this bears a lot of resemblance to that other one. But then I decided this looked more like the sea, and I gave up. Then in Bukhara, we stayed in the Hotel Kamil. Kamil is the gentleman that owns the hotel. He was very lovely, and it was a beautiful place to stay. And I was sitting downstairs waiting for, I'd already had my breakfast, and I was waiting for other people to come before we went out for the day, and just thought, I'm going to sketch because I was still struggling at this point with feeling confident sketching around the others and sketching outdoors. And you can see I made some mistakes, but I got the spirit of it. I haven't gone over that in colour because if I went over it with watercolour, then the pen ink would run. So I'll just leave it like that, I think. Then this is, I did a picture of this in one of the other books. I forget which particular building this is, but it was rather lovely to sit there. There was some steps that we were sitting on, and this big group of Italian tourists came and stood right in front of us. So I ended up having to make up some of the building, but again, it's got the idea. These are not going to be great works of art, but they are memories of my lovely holiday. And then this one was inside this building, and it's built, the 816 thing, the dome part of it is built on like 8/16/32, that kind of pattern. And the blue there is, you could see out. I think we were actually looking out that way, but you could see the sky through the bricks. This is, we ate in some really lovely places, and I have to say I was a bit worried about vegetarian food and being able to get any, but I should not have worried at all. There was a good vegetarian choice wherever we went. Aubergines were plentiful, and I love aubergines, and had so many lovely aubergine dishes. On this particular day, we went to the Bella Italia restaurant. That's our phone number. And we had these lovely glass goblets for our water that were kind of bluey colour. And then lovely tea, absolutely beautiful tea. I think this was a chai tea, this one. And it was lovely, absolutely lovely. And then on this one, I was getting the hang of writing where we were and a little bit of information. So this was the Arc building in Bukhara, which is built on an artificial hill that's 10 to 15 metres high. Again, we spent a lovely couple of hours in this building. It's quite a steep slope going up, but this was literally a 5-minute sketch as we were standing at the bottom listening to Jalal tell us about the building. This is a stone statue of a lion at the Treasury door. There are actually 2 of them. And again, a quick 10-minute sketch. And then this is where I bought the scissors. And also, the reason this says baby pea pipes here, I will put a photograph in. There was this invention from those days of something where so there was a male version and a female version, where you would tie these things onto your babies and it would automatically make the pee. So if the baby peed, instead of it wetting the cot or anything, it would go straight out. It was very interesting, and listening to the man explain it all in Uzbekistan language was just fascinating. Then this is a quick sketch of a painting of somebody called Alisher Navoy. We did learn a lot about him on our travels. I can't remember what Yala means. Anyway. Then also in the Arc, we saw this guy here was doing some metal work. So he was busy doing that outside the Friday Mosque. So this is just a quick sketch of him. And then this was a doorway. Oh, could you see that? This was a doorway. I was sat opposite it. Said no entry at the top. And then this is at the Kalon complex. Very random notes that I made here, and I tried to get the tile pattern, but I couldn't quite. That's not right, and that's nearly right-ish, but it was more like that. Is this? Yeah, I can't remember where this was, but I think this must have still been in Bukhara, actually. And that was a quick sketch of part of a minaret. And then this is Charminar again. That's the one where I did do a more detailed picture. I thought I would just do a quick sketch of it. See how I got on. And then this one, I don't think you can probably see it very clearly. I need to finish this one because this was a pottery set. So there was this dish in the middle, and then these were smaller dishes around the outside, making it look like a flower. That was a lovely piece of pottery, but I do want to go back and finish that one. And then in this pottery, high up on the wall, there were these two windows, but obviously this is a door. And this wood was just beautiful. It was carved in such a way that where normally, like in the UK, these would just be straight pieces of wood, but they were curved. They were carved to be curved, and they looked quite, I think I've probably written it here actually. They reminded me of hobbits, hobbit houses. And this was the place where I bought the beautiful turquoise blue bowl with the fishes on it, and it's the Ishgar pottery. The lady that showed us around there was lovely, and she was so knowledgeable about pottery and everything, and it was her dad who'd actually made the bowl that I bought. Oh, there was a rude and grumpy official visiting that day. I couldn't understand a word of what he was saying, but he was being so rude to the people in the pottery. It was horrible. And there was a lovely lady who was doing the Suzanne embroidery technique, so that was lovely. And then this was a very quick sketch of a water storage place that we stopped at on our way from Bukhara to the yurt camp. Again, very quick sketch. This was the tower gate. For the entrance to, I've forgotten, hold on. That's it. This was the entrance to the caravanserai. So basically it's a place in the desert where people who were travelling from one place to another would know that they would be able to stop there and get supplies and get water and things like that. This, I've got a picture of somebody else took it of me drawing this. It was a really kind of vibrant yellow colour, this plant. And this, I started off by just doing this close-up detail, and then we ended up being there for a bit longer than I thought we were going to be, so I ended up trying to do the whole of the plant, and again just going and trying to be really speed sketchy about it. Not quite sure it's worked, and obviously it would be better if there was more background in it, but it's enough for me. I know what it was. This is the Idarkul Lake, and we went for a swim here. So down here there's some changing, I won't call them changing rooms, they're more like changing shelters, just that will kind of protect your modesty really. And the water was freezing cold, I had been looking forward to a swim, but that day it had been quite overcast, I think. So the water wasn't quite warm. And I didn't want to get my hair wet because that night we were staying in the yurt camp and I didn't know what the kind of showering situation was going to be. But it was a very bracing and refreshing dip in the water. And this was before, so I did the outline here with the Fude pen, and this was using the black ink. And it was at this point I decided I didn't like the black ink, so I changed it for the other ink thing, I think. This one here is the hangings inside the yurt. So these ones here, they should have been more of a white colour, really. In fact, I think it should have been this one and this one that were white, and I made it up in the end. But it gives you an idea of the layout of the hangings and the way that they were woven. And then these are bamboo poles. Some of them were in front of the hangings and some of them were behind. And this was a quick sketch of the yurt camp. This again was where I did the background. And you might remember in the last video I said I realised I should have done negative painting, and this was my attempt at negative painting. So I left a gap for the tents and then did them with the Fude pen, and then wrecked it by using my water brush. Anyways, it gives me an idea, it's fine. This one is a 5-minute sketch of part of the Registan building in Samarkand. This is a huge place. So there's a square in the middle, and then on the left and the right hand side and on the far side there are 3 madrasas, which are huge, and they're just amazing buildings. We did go and see it at night time as well, because at night time they put on like a light show and a music show. I think it lasts about half an hour or so. I'll put a little bit of video clip in here of the changing colours, and it's very bright and vibrant. It was lovely. This was on our first night in Samarkand. I had the raspberry tea, which was raspberries, mint and lemon, and it was very yummy. It was really nice. And it's at the Platan restaurant. There you go. And it was 40,000 som, which is like £2.50 or something. But it's more expensive than beer or wine. And I got myself in a right twist about that, because I know I had these are big teapots, but I didn't understand why hot water was more expensive than beer and wine. Anyway, I used the Viva watercolour sheets to give it a bit of a sheen and a shine there. And then this is a quick sketch of the universe of Ulugh Beg. We met him in a previous video. Where's he gone? This guy. And it's called The Universe of Him. And it's actually a huge brass globe there's 2 statues of him and a couple of other scientisty type people behind it, but I just focused on that. Then this was one of those cheerful statues at the lunch restaurant in Samarkand. This one is one of the details from, I think it's from the Welcome to Samarkand sign that's at the Registan. Somehow I've made this creature very long and thin. It's not actually that long and thin on the thing. I'll put a proper picture in so you can see. But I quite enjoyed doing that. It was quite fun. And then on the last night, this was a blind contour drawing of the Tashkent skyline from the 19th floor of the Uzbekistan Hotel in Tashkent. It was an amazing view over the city, and we were there to watch the sunset, and it looked as if it was going to be disappointing to begin with, but then it did get better. So again, did I use this pen? That looks a bit black. I maybe used my Sakura Micron for this, maybe. Anyway, I literally was looking at the skyline and did it. And again, I seem to have this habit of going up. So it was just like that. Some of these buildings at night time, they have lights on them and they flash on and off, and it looks really lovely. And then this bit is when you're looking down. So there's these buildings and lots of trees, and this was a main road. And then I didn't want to carry on because I didn't want to spoil my picture. So I left it at that. And then this is a quick drawing of my tile that I bought. Not bad. And I think, yep, that's it. Oh, that was where I was explaining on the train to one of my new friends about what Zentangle was. Some like ephemera in there. I did think I'd do a lot more Zentangle on the holiday than I did, but I didn't. So I did do one tile that I gave to the guy in Kiva at the art hotel, and then this was another one that I was doing that I need to finish. Anyway, I do hope that you have enjoyed these sketchbook tours of my wonderful trip to Uzbekistan. I can highly recommend it, and I can also highly recommend Art Safari as a travel company. Couldn't ask for better travel companions or better organisation. Absolutely inspiring group of people to go away with. I am going to stop there because I'm losing my voice. It's been lovely sharing this time with you again, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye.